What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Masters Fantasy Show, brought to you by MastersFantasyFootballLeagues.com. My name's Jonathan. Joining me today, Dynasty Owl, the Doc. We're the Masters crew. What's up, guys? How you doing today?
Doing good. Just looking for some waiver wire stashes real quick in my Dynasty leagues.
Yeah, me too, man. Been tough at it, man. Ever since I found out I was in the playoffs, I've been scouring the waiver wire. Even though the teams I'm not in the playoffs on, man, those are some of the most scouring, man, looking for next season.
Sure.
We're going to be talking about this season today. The Doc's got something he wants to pass along, a dark horse, MVP candidate, possibly for the playoffs this year. Before we jump into that, I just want to pass it along. Playoff league starting in a couple weeks. We'll be running a month, the last regular season game. Starting that week, man, we start Monday all the way till kickoff, a wild card weekend, running from noon to midnight. Some of the funnest leagues we have. Just want to pass that along. But hey, man, let's kick this over to you, Doc. Can't wait to hear who you're talking about. Like I said, man, a guy that you could possibly pick up, make a run in the playoffs, man. So good stuff. Can't wait to hear it. Who we talking about, Doc?
Right. So I'm talking about a quarterback here. And I can't say for Masters leagues for sure, but I know in ESPN leagues, he's only rostered in 57% of those leagues. So very much still available. Last two games he's had as a starter, 20.66 points and 26.3 points. So pretty good numbers. And the thing that we like the most about him is that he is a dual threat option. In the last two games, as a starting quarterback, he has 22 carries, 175 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's just rushing. Wow. That's not even throwing the ball. And I'm sure you could figure it out by now that I'm talking about Taysom Hill, quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. I'll just come out and say it. I mean, it hasn't really been pretty at times. I know 2 weeks ago he had 4 interceptions, but still managed to eclipse 20 points. I honestly, I think this guy is like bust performance proof. I don't think he's capable of having like an absolute stinker. I really don't. He had 4 interceptions in a game and still eclipsed 20 points. Alvin Kamara comes back. They blow out the Jets. He still runs for 2 touchdowns like in the second half of that game. I mean, the dude just finds ways. It doesn't matter if they're getting blown out, if they're blowing someone out, doesn't matter how the game's going. He finds a way to put up fantasy points. And the best part of this guy, despite being super available, being a great runner, is honestly his schedule. His schedule throughout the next 4 games to close out the entire season at Tampa Bay, which is a tough game, but their secondary is a concern, and not to mention Taysom Hill obviously going to get his running the ball. Then you've got Miami, who's been playing better, but again, not great. Carolina, I don't even know what's happening there. I mean, they just are just plummeting for the dumpster as the weeks go on. I don't know what's going on there. And then they finish at Atlanta. Again, another team that's not very good. So realistically, Taysom Hill in your playoff push is going to play a bad schedule. He's already proved he can do it in various scenarios, whether, like I said, whether they're getting crushed, he's throwing picks, whether they're winning by a lot, no matter what the circumstances, he's found a way to be over 20 points in his 2 starts this season. And I mean, the schedule just continues to be easy the rest of the way. The guy's available in most leagues. I mean, only 57% owned in ESPN. I got to believe that's pretty similar for our Masters leagues as well. I think you got to go get Taysom Hill if you're hurting at quarterback. I mean, there's a whole list of guys I can name that I would take Taysom Hill over, but the numbers don't lie. The schedule does not lie. So I'm going to go with Taysom Hill. Again, it's not pretty, but the numbers are there. The usage is there. I'm rolling with them. I really am.
Yeah, and kick it over to you in a second, Dynasty Owl. Just something I kept hearing when you were going. For some reason, I kept thinking about an old Saints quarterback that they had last year that, no matter what type of football he was playing, bad football, good football, the fantasy points just piled up. That's Jameis Winston. It didn't happen with the Saints, but I mean, in Tampa Bay, whether he was playing good football, bad football, I'm just saying you count on points for him. Taysom Hill, with his legs kind of the same. So I actually really like the take. Dynasty Owl, how do you feel about Taysom Hill?
So I like the take. So I've got him in 2 leagues actually. The one is a super flex league where I desperately needed to win to make the playoffs last week, and he helped me do that. Actually, my team went off last week, but he was a big part of it. And then the other league I have him is one you guys are in as well. My quarterbacks are Kyler and Justin Fields. So like I definitely don't really want them. Like I hate wasting. I don't want to say wasting a roster spot, but like ideally I would like to drop them and pick up one of these guys we talk about for next year. But the problem is I don't want anybody else to be able to grab them and start them against me in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to hold them, kind of like the Doc does with all those tight ends. He just hoards them all himself so nobody can start him against them. But I think maybe, if I make the champion, like at that last week, I could see myself dropping them, like when I know I'm not going to start him. But I mean, if Kyler got hurt, like he could be a savior for me because I don't feel super confident, obviously, with Fields yet. But yeah, so I like Taysom Hill going forward. The proven quarterbacks, I would still start over him, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, 4 interceptions and still 20 points. That's hard not to like.
Yeah, couple things I want to add to that. One is Doc, with hoarding them tight ends, and I mean always playing defense. Who says there's no defense in fantasy football? It's definitely
absolutely
some strategies that you could use, as Doc and Dynasty Owl are pointing out. And I actually want to toss another name in the ring at the quarterback position. And I'm not sure what he's owned. I actually think he's probably less owned than Taysom Hill. That's just a guess. And something I really like about this guy, is this is it for him, man. Like, we've got a couple games left to go. Probably never going to play football again. So I personally think he's going to leave it all out on the field. Might be throwing the ball 50 times the next 3 games. I don't have the schedule right in front of me. I do know one of the games is Kansas City. I've already kind of circled that game as a game I'm probably going to be starting him at. Our arch nemesis, arch rival, guy that we all hate. I think he wraps up maybe with Cleveland. I'm not sure. I have to look at the schedule again.
I think it's our second to last.
I'm tossing Big Ben out there, man. Threw me off last week. I benched him. Had like 2 points at halftime. Finished with 31 points. And I benched him in that league. But I was just sitting there thinking about the last couple of days, and I'm like, you know what, man? No run game. I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers, regardless of playoffs, whether they're going to make it or not, I could see that team rallying around Big Ben, kind of like a last hurrah, fighting for him. He's got weapons. They have a running back, doesn't really run. I'm just saying, like, all passes. I could see it 50 possibly. For me, I'm picking up Big Ben. I think he could be a quiet, good stash, to finish off your fantasy season and his career.
Yeah, I think he's
really
going to go down slinging.
Yeah, well, why not, man? That's big. Go down slinging, man, 50 times. Which also just going to add, I think you're starting him anyway, but obviously, man, I really like the next few games. Deontay, Claypool, Freiermuth, all those guys, man. I think Pittsburgh goes down swinging. So just tossing that out there. If it's on your waiver wire, you're desperate at quarterback. 2 guys that you could pick up. And I really like your Taysom Hill. I'll be honest, I really like my Big Ben. See how that works out. So anybody else, guys, or is that it?
I think that's it.
Okay. So I got just real quick a random one to throw in, not quarterback related, but I think he just got added to the COVID list today, so that kind of throws a wrench in it. But I almost said this last week, and he still didn't have a great game, but he caught a touchdown, so that brings a little excitement. I kind of feel like these next couple of games, Josh Gordon could kind of come alive and give some fantasy playoff magic if you just need a desperation play. But again, he got out of the COVID list. I don't know if he'd even be out there this week. But yeah, I mean, he's been playing snaps. We talked about Mecole Hardman disappointing, and they hadn't been targeting Josh Gordon a ton, but he'd been out there run blocking a lot, and they gave him a nice little goal line screen pass. So I think maybe they were saving him a little bit, and just kind of now's the time they're going to let him loose, possibly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that time of the season. Start, Kansas City, that's how they're going to beat you, man, throwing the ball. I do think that, that was a design play for him to score, like that's
right.
So I mean, that's not a terrible takeaway from the game. Trying to get him in the offense, trying to get him in the offense in the red zone, maybe build his confidence up for these next few games. I don't hate it. Something you brought up, last thing I want to pass along. Man, it was kind of a tough week. Monday night, sure you guys know the late scratch. Tyler Higbee with COVID, man. You know, man, it was tough because that's it, man. It was some guys needed a couple points out of tight end, and then last minute nothing you could do. It's playoff time, guys. These Monday night football games, just tossing it out there, man. Like if you got a guy you got to start on Monday night, have someone on your roster you can use if need be. Unfortunately, with COVID, man, it can pop up that quick, man, and you can't pick anybody up. Hate to see anybody lose like that. So just want to pass that along. Monday night games, a key player, have a backup in place, man. You want to go down swinging with a full roster. So, hey, good stuff as always, guys. You guys at home, if you could hit the like and subscribe button. Good luck this week. First round of the playoff. Hopefully you're a 1 or a 2 seed. You can just kick back, relax. If not, good luck this weekend. As always, thanks so much for watching. Any last words, guys?
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you.